Hello.
Thought you were going to go, hello, everyone. I was going to go,
I'm trying to
hello,
mix it
everyone.
up a little bit. Hello. Can you do a harmony?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Oh dear.
Right, we'll never do that again.
Oh dear.
Anyway, hi guys.
Hello, everyone.
It's Soph.
And it's Rach.
Back again for another episode of the It's Not Just You poddy.
Woo.
Can I get a what?
What?
How's your weekend been, Rach?
My weekend's been good.
It's Monday, just for context, when we're filming this, so
It's Monday. We've just had the weekend.
off the back of a massive weekend.
I think we both did have quite a big weekend, didn't we?
we did, to be fair.
We both went on, would you say nights out? It's not really nights out.
I went on a night out.
Okay.
Is what I would call it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we both went for a boogie, basically.
Yeah.
Or did you dance?
Did I dance?
Is that even a
Is the
question?
Pope Catholic?
Where did you go?
Oh, all over the place, mate.
Soph was in York
I was in
this
York.
weekend
I was in York
with some friends.
with the home girlies. Some of these girls I realised I've been friends with for nearly 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
Go back, way back.
Way back.
I was in York and we did go for a boogie. We went out for dinner, then we went to like a pub, and then we went to, I don't know what they were called. All I remember is that we ended in the Slug and Lettuce.
All I remember is that we...
No, that makes it sound as in like...
I don't even know where we were.
No, it makes it sound like I was like, didn't know what I was doing. I did. I was in York and I didn't know where these places were called.
Right.
We were just walking in and being like, is it free? Brilliant.
Oh, so it was a Slug and Lettuce. Isn't that a bar?
Yeah, but like they have a DJ. It was a Saturday, so they have like a DJ in there and stuff.
Nice.
The floor was so sticky. I was wearing like sliders, and it was like my feet was actually getting like stuck to the, like it was horrible.
Was
but
it a
good
good
time,
night?
but
Good
good
night?
times. Yeah, very good times.
Out of 10?
Solid like 7, just because I'm not. I'm more of like a let's stay in one place and stick there.
Okay,
and
right.
commit.
Whereas you were doing some pub crawl.
We were cutting about.
Right, okay.
But yeah, overall company 10 out of 10. It's more just the music.
Nice.
You want the tunes that are going to get you dancing, and there were a few, but not consistent bangers is what I'd say.
That's always a shame. Yeah, similar vibe. Went to a bar for our friend's birthday. And the DJ there was, again, just, it's just annoying. Like, you know when someone's like, a bar has literally hired a DJ in, they're sat there with full DJ decks, everything, but the music's just like...
What was the deadest song they played?
No, that's the thing. They weren't playing songs. It was like instrumentals.
Oh.
Which I
what
just
do you mean
find,
instrumentals?
Like, as in none of the songs had lyrics. It was all just kind of like background remixes that I just find quite annoying personally. Yeah, and like I was like, come on.
I wouldn't exactly call that an instrumental.
What would you call it?
Just like...
A song without words. That's called an instrumental.
Yeah, maybe. I think
Maybe not. DJ beats.
DJ tracks.
But I'm like, come on, like just a few songs with like words, like would be great.
I know, a bit of Riri, it's all it takes.
But then, so we decided to take matters in our own hands and go to a favourite venue of ours in Birmingham, the Jam House, or we got our jam on.
If you live in Birmingham and you haven't been to the Jam House, then what are you doing?
Also, it happened to be one of my favourite artists who play at the Jam House called, what is it? Urban Intro. They played on my birthday and they just played banger after banger. So we were really tearing up the dance floor there, I have to say.
Love that.
So all in all, a very dance heavy weekend for both of us.
That's what we like.
We love a boogie.
There we go. So we're in good spirits this Monday morning.
We're in good spirits, fun weekend, and we are ready to jump into our podcast topic.
Let's dive in. Rach, what is it?
So today's podcast topic, we actually put up a little poll on our Instagram story. So if you're not following us on Instagram, follow us at
Then what are you doing?
At @SafeandRach__, because we couldn't get the username at @SafeandRach. Brilliant.
Yeah, we're still after it. So if anyone knows any means to get a username on Instagram.
Oh, please do let us know. But we put up a poll and we gave 3 options that were all quite similar. And 2 of the options tied very closely. But today we are going to be recording an episode on it's not just you who thinks you are less attractive than your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, I guess, not necessarily body image, but appearance, looks, comparison, friendships, all of it.
All of it is going to be covered in the next 25 minutes.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
I would say first reflection would be a lot of people hit that poll answer, which was just quite interesting, where it's like, you know, when you put these topics out there and you're like, oh, you kind of assume, you know, maybe people do feel a certain way or they would relate, but you're never really sure. And then it's quite like, whoa, so many people like clicked, yeah. Like,
yeah.
I'm that person. Like, I don't think I'm attractive as my friends. And you're like, oh my days.
Yeah. Because I think there's a lot of chat about kind of just generally comparing the way you look to people on social media, where it's more like influencers or celebrities. But I feel like I haven't heard loads of chat around actually I'm comparing myself to my friends or the people that I'm surrounded by. In more, I guess, maybe in the sense of just specifically looks.
Yeah.
I think often it's all put on like the media and the things that you're seeing on online and whatever. But what about the day-to-day reality of struggling with comparing yourself to your mates? Mm-hmm. So
that would be the first thing to say,
yes.
that if you are there and you're like, yeah, to be honest, a lot of the time I do feel like I'm less attractive than my mates, know that you are not alone.
Yeah.
And we can say that as a certified fact because a lot of people said that they feel the same.
Yeah.
So it's a common thing.
Mm-hmm. Is there any particular times where you can remember that feeling of, oh, I'm comparing myself to my mates, or I'm feeling insecure because I'm in an environment or a situation where I'm comparing?
For sure. I mean, I think for me, I think it's still like a present day reality. Like if you actually started thinking about some of the thoughts you might have when you're like, I think particularly either getting ready for an event or you're making an effort or you're on holiday and you're all in swimwear or something like that. Like for me, that's when those kind of thoughts would surface, because I think on the day-to-day when you're surrounded by your mates and you kind of know what they look like, or even for me, I work with a lot of my friends, I'm seeing them at work every day. It's like, I wouldn't say that's like a common everyday thought for me of like, oh, I don't look as good as my friends. But I think it's in those moments sometimes where you make an effort and there is just generally more emphasis placed on how you look, i.e. you're going to a party, you're going to a wedding, and, you know, everyone's purposely getting dressed up to look nice. That's when I then become way more aware of how I look. And in that will definitely find myself like comparing. But I think like that's what it looks like for me at the moment. But I know looking back at school, flip me. Like that was a roller coaster.
It was a bit savage, wasn't it?
It was a bit savage. I think when you're at that age, when you're going through school, when you're surrounded by your group of like girl mates and there's so much of that going out, but also mixed in with like you're growing up, your like body's changing, you've discovered boys, you're trying to impress like guys around you. It's even the thing of like, you know, like even just guys in itself, like there's so much emphasis on it, like who's had their first kiss, who's like going on a date. And I think all of that then becomes related to how you look in some ways. Yeah. And the like, just the temptation to try and constantly look better than your friends is just there. Yeah. Or compare yourself to how your friends like look. Yeah.
I do also like thinking about it now when I look back at school as well. You're very much kind of, I think, discovering who you are, and even just around the whole looks topic, like what looks good on you, what doesn't, what kind of style or fashion you want to have, or how you want to express yourself through clothes, makeup, hair, all this stuff where realistically, like when you're a teenager, you ain't got a flipping clue. Like you're just like, oh, I don't know, I saw this person doing that, so maybe I should do that. And actually, I do think as you get older, you can start to feel more confident in, do you know what? Like, I know that this looks good for me, so I'll kind of stick to that. But I just remember at school, it was just so kind of like, like what looks good on me, what doesn't. And it feels like they really know how to dress, how to do their makeup, how to do their hair. And I'm like struggling over here because I don't feel like I've worked any of that stuff out, and they look really put together. I feel like I'm just...
Yeah. But like, if you think about it, you go from being a kid who realistically,
like your mum's dressing you.
You've got no idea. You don't care at all how you look as a kid.
Yeah.
Then as you get a bit older, like, again, like you go to primary school, it's still, I wouldn't say that much of a thing. But then as you start to go through puberty, I think it changes a little bit. But even like year 7, year 8, like, I think you could start to care, or some girls do start to like be more conscious of how they look. But it's then like, I would say generally speaking, like year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11, it's just suddenly like you enter the world of like being aware of what you look like and how your friends look and where you fit in it all, and whether you're more attractive or less attractive. And often you're defining that off whether boys are interested in you.
Yeah. So, random thought. Did you ever have Ask FM?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I remember on Ask FM.
Oh my gosh.
Right, guys,
did it get shut down?
I don't know. But guys, if you don't know what Ask FM was, it was basically an anonymous website where everyone at school would be on it. You'd have a profile, but people could ask you questions anonymously, but then people would see your response. So it would be, I remember basically people in my year at school would be asking questions to other people, and it would be like 5 fittest girls in the year. Yeah. And then they would put their answer and everyone could see it. Or it'd be like 5, best looking girls, best looking guys, whatever. And everyone can literally see, and it would always be the same people. And I feel like half of that was just because almost people didn't want to say someone else, and they'd be like, oh, why have you said them? But it would always be like the same girls getting put, the same guys getting put.
Oh, Ask FM makes
and it was
me
just
ill.
like, oh my gosh. And obviously you're seeing that. And for me, as I was never in it. So in my mind, I'm like, great. So they're the girls that are attractive.
I don't look like
they're
them.
the guys that the boys like. And it's like, I don't look like them, or they're way prettier than me because they, you know, can do their makeup well. They've got all the right clothes, all the stuff that I guess you're, like I said, you're working out at that point. And there were the girls in your year at school who just seemed like they had it together. They were popular, pretty, all of that.
And often had older siblings. That's what I would say. I always noticed like the girls in my school. Yeah, they would have older siblings. They would like steal clothes from, steal makeup from, like, whereas like when you're like, they're like, great, all I've got is a younger brother. It's like, you're not helping
really
me out,
helpful.
mate. But I did notice that at school, like those girls with like older siblings, like I was like, you got a bit of an advantage, to be fair.
Not really fair.
At school, would you, like, did you feel less attractive than your friends?
Yeah, I would say so. I think for me, a big thing was around the whole guys thing. And for me, it was like, I think I was, like the last person in my group to like have a first kiss, or again, reoccurring topic, hadn't had a boyfriend, still haven't had a boyfriend. But like at this point, like all my friends were getting boyfriends. I hadn't had one. So I feel like that was part of it that contributed towards feeling like, oh, like they've all had a kiss. They've all like, you know, had a boyfriend, if not like a few boyfriends. And I was just like, oh, so what does that mean about me? Does that mean that I'm less attractive than them? As I'm looking at it factually, yes. But then I do think also there was just the thing around like, working out who you are, how you want to express yourself through clothes, makeup, hair, all of that, like I was saying. And I think I just felt a bit like, oh, I don't know. Did
you start doing, like trying to do things that your mates were doing? Or like how did it outplay? Like, did you just feel less confident in yourself? Or was it like, no, I'm going to try and wear clothes that are like, you know, that people that you think attractive are wearing? I
think for me, like a big thing was around I think, being like mixed race, which meant that it's like a lot of my friends were white. So I think I would see them and it'd be like, oh, they've all got like long straight hair. I don't have long straight hair. So maybe it'd be like, oh, maybe I'll straighten my hair. But then it would be, oh, but I'm not white. I don't know, just feeling a bit in the middle, I think, of like, my dad's white, my mum's black. That means that I'm a mixture of both. But almost, I think, feeling a bit stuck in like, so what does actually that look like in terms of who I am, how I dress, my hair, my like my skin color, all of this, where, I think I just felt a little bit like, I don't know. I don't really know what it means for me to live and be true to myself as a young mixed race girl.
Yeah.
Where like some people in my year would be like, oh, you should like have braids. But then all my friends have got like long and straight hair. So I'm like,
and also
I don't really
just
know.
like the reality of like, like you look at your mates and they're white with straight hair and like you could think, oh, so I want my hair to be straight. But it's like, is that the way that your hair like naturally like sits? No. Like, so how can you do that?
Yeah. So I think that was just a big thing for me, like growing up, just navigating all of that, just feeling a bit like confused, I think is probably the best way to put it. But ultimately, I think a lot of it, was like looking at my friends, looking at how they looked. Probably for me, particularly, I think being like, well, I don't look anything like them. So just not feeling as though I'm as attractive as them because, like I said, even with the boys thing, that coming into it, not looking similar to them, I think I just felt sometimes a bit like out of place / not as attractive as my friends who were off with boyfriends, all that stuff.
And then do you feel like has that changed as you've got old, or like how do you think, like is that still something that you would struggle with, or is it like, oh, you know?
I think so. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's one of those things where at the time I didn't really put the two together. Like I wasn't there thinking, oh, because I'm mixed race, this is why I feel da 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 da. It was very much just like a feeling that I probably couldn't put words to or articulate. Whereas now I think it's something that I've acknowledged and I've recognized. And so actually I think over the past year, 2 years, I've probably been doing more work on like unpacking some of that stuff, or just I guess being more intentional around like, I'm not white and I'm not black, I'm mixed race. So actually, what does that mean like for me? And even not just, that's very generalized, mixed race, like me as Sophie, you know, what does it look like to dress in a way that I feel like is true to myself, or do my hair, or what, all these things where actually I think it's not everything. It's not, you know, the way I look isn't, that's all that I am, but it is a part of who I am. And so I think, the last few years have been, I think, more of acknowledging, do you know what, I think I've got some thoughts that are just not great around comparing myself to people or the way I look. Yeah. And trying to unpack and work through them, really.
Yeah. And it's basically, I guess, the question of away from what my friends look like, what society deems to be attractive, what, you know, these beauty standards are that have been set, away from all of that. It's like, who am I? Yeah. And like, again, even getting like into the concept of what is attractive, trying to almost like let go. And I know it's so hard because it's just constantly like shoved in your face in terms of like what society deems to be attractive, but almost trying to like be like, just letting go of that for a moment, like who am I and how do I want to dress and how do I want to look, away from any kind of pressure of like, you should look like this.
Yeah. I remember hearing someone speak about in a podcast, they were talking kind of about comparison, and they were saying essentially that imagine if you lived in a world where only you existed, you probably would, like, you wouldn't even know that there were other options of things. Yeah. So if you've got, for me, it's like I've got brown eyes. I wouldn't know that I could have blue eyes, or I wouldn't know that I could have blonde hair, or I wouldn't know that I could have a different skin tone, because you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't almost have other people around you to show you there's all these other options of things. And actually maybe this particular look of person is being pushed as attractive. Like basically how content you would be if you never saw anyone that looked different from you, which is obviously so extreme and not something that can ever happen. But essentially that thought of like, I guess we live in a world where, there's such a variety of ways that you can look. And often there is particular ones that are pushed as this is what's attractive or this is what is the goal. And I guess actually just where it is really hard to be content when you see all these other things of, I could look like that. I could have blue eyes.
And what's celebrated.
I could be slimmer. I could be, my teeth could look more like that person's. And actually, if you kind of, and again, you wouldn't want to live in isolation on your own with no one else there. But equally, I think you'd just get on with life, wouldn't you? You wouldn't actually think about it at all.
It is like, I know, like you say, you can't go and live. Yeah, there's no way that you can live in isolation like easily. But when you actually think about how, like you say, that idea of being completely content in how you are, and then, how you are, how you look, and then you think of like, therefore the fact that it is purely comparison that makes you feel so unworthy or, unattractive, or like you're less attractive than all the people around you. You're like, whoa. Yeah. Like how can comparison, just the emotion, the whatever it is, like that feeling of comparing yourself cause so much like destruction in your mind where like, people have such low self-esteem and low confidence and, just view themselves like as being whatever it is, ugly, like just, or, they're not proud of the way they look. And it's all literally a result of comparison. Yeah. It's like, flip, how can that have like such an effect? But it does.
Yeah. Because I guess, like that analogy that I was saying, I've never really thought of it in that way, even where it's like, it is literally just to do with there being other people to compare yourself to, because if there wasn't,
you wouldn't know any different.
Then you wouldn't know any different.
You wouldn't be looking. I think it's like goes beyond body image and like how you look, and it goes into every area of life where just think generally how much more content you would be as a person if you weren't thinking, but look at their career, look how much money they have, look at their friends, look at their like life. And it's like, how can we not compare basically? How can we not look around us and the first thought be, I want what they have? Like,
and I do think with friends, it's hard in terms of the whole comparing the way that you look to friends, because I guess kind of like we spoke about in the episode when we were chatting about celebrating friends' success, I do think it can become this really almost just quite competitive environment, like you say, where you're all getting ready for a night out, or you're all, on holiday, or like it's like pre-holiday, and it's like,
isn't it just a disgusting feeling?
I think a lot of girls would say that they've been in an environment that it feels competitive about, like, well, I'm going to take 2.5 hours to get ready because, and it's like, well, I'm going to take 3, like, and it's just the most elaborate, like
routines. One by one coming out to the pool, like in their bikini, like.
But I think it's hard because actually it's like, we're all supposed to be friends here. Yeah. We're all supposed to be like cheering each other on and like not trying to get ahead of each other and put each other down.
Yeah, but there's almost like this streak in you. And like even Sophie and I was saying earlier, sometimes it's like low-key animalistic again, where it's like this thing of even the way, again, referring to boys, where we're like, I mean, when me and Sophie are talking about being animalistic, I actually have no idea. Like, I'm not a scientist, but like I know the basic concept of like an animal tries to impress a mate. They do that by, that does involve their appearance. Like I'm thinking of those videos you'd see of like birds like puffing up their chest or like something like that. And like you try and impress people with, like you try and attract a guy by the way that you look. And I think that's why there's this streak like in each of us where it's like, oh, I want to look the best.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is just kind of like you say, purely just on human instinct of like we've said before, it's almost like survival of the fittest. I'm gonna literally survival of the fittest.
Survival of the hottest.
I'm pretty sure there's like a reality show called that.
That's actually disgusting.
But yeah, even just we were saying as well about kind of the whole element then of, let's say you are going on a night out, you're in a big group of girls, and it is kind of the energy of like, I want to be the one that
it makes you feel so
the guy picks out, that the, you know,
everyone just low key like just like all trying so hard to like look just the best they can. It's like, ugh.
But I think it's totally in some ways fair.
It's like, what product's that? Oh, let me, oh, that looks good. Right. Oh, let me just try that. Oh, nice. Oh, how are you doing your hair? Oh, that looks a bit different. Oh, you've got a new curling one. Oh, do you mind just trying it out on me?
Oh my gosh.
You've got fake tan on. Do you mind fake tanning quickly?
I totally forgot about, have you ever seen, I feel like I've seen it on TikTok, but we've all been there, where basically a friend has like an item of clothing that you want to wear.
Yeah.
So, but they also might want to wear it. So they try it on and you're like, yeah, not sure about that, mate. You're like, yeah, I think the first one was better option. But if you're not going to wear it, then I will.
Literally. No, you like have to wait.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, okay, like I'll wear the other thing. And then you wait 5 minutes and then like, oh, so are you not wearing that? Like, oh, do you mind if I try it on? It's like, no, like not like that was your plan the entire time.
So, well, if you're not going to wear it, then...
We wouldn't want it to go to waste. I don't mind wearing it. I can put it on.
Do you think it looks good? I actually didn't even bring a top because I just knew this might happen.
I forgot my top. Do you mind?
It's just the whole thing of literally like putting them off.
I just hate
trying to wear it so then you can wear it. And it's like...
Or even like further than that, like I feel like I've seen things where it's like, just like, someone just puts something on or does their makeup and it doesn't look good and you tell them it looks good, like which is just the height of like,
yeah, that's savage.
I know, but I do think like in school, I just feel like you just like all rationality just goes out of the window.
It's
like
doggy dog out there.
So does this eye makeup look good?
Like,
yeah, add some more blue.
I don't know the wing.
I've seen this really cool new trend where you add like 3 wings.
It's called the 3-winged eyeliner.
Oh, you've not seen it? Oh, where have you been living? Oh, you can do it. Nah, not tonight, but you should.
Also, give me a top while you're at it.
Also, keep away from my man. It's literally just like, I can't. Why are girls like that though?
Yeah, we're actually awful, aren't we?
But I do think like...
Do you think guys do that? No.
No, because it's not even the energy. They don't get ready together. Like there's none of
that's
that.
so
like,
true.
They whack on a shirt, cool, let's go.
And spike the hair up.
And also with guys, everything's way more direct. Like all of that is actually just indirect. Girls like it's so like catty. But like even as we're like laughing about it, it is funny, but equally at the same time, it's like, it is just, it's not a nice culture. Like,
it's not the vibe, guys.
It's actually just like horrible.
Yeah, and that's why I think the point that I was originally making is like, actually, we should be trying to big each other up and even just being honest. Like, I think just being honest around like, I don't know, if you are like trying to fight over a guy or something, like at least just have a conversation about it and just be like, look, rather than it's just like,
or even just like genuinely being like, oh guys, like if I'm honest tonight, I just feel a bit insecure. Like as you're getting ready, just being honest and being like, feel like, oh, my makeup's not going right. Oh, if I'm honest, I just feel a bit insecure. And then in that moment, like your friends being able to be like, oh, like, you know, just like encourage you. Because I think when you encourage one another as well, it does just, I think encouragement and choosing to love and like champion each other directly goes against comparison.
Yeah.
And like, again, we chatted about that loads in our episode about choosing to celebrate each other's success. But I do think like an antidote in some ways to comparison, even if it doesn't remove the comparative thoughts completely, by choosing to celebrate someone and be like, you look incredible. And like, yeah, you wear that top. Like, wow, you look amazing. Even though it doesn't completely remove the like insecure thought you may be having in that moment, it does it essentially means that you act out of a different place as opposed to then, you know, making a backhanded compliment or like saying something horrible to tear someone down just because you feel insecure.
Yeah. And I think also just actually is just you being a good friend.
Yeah.
Like that, it kind of just comes down to that as well. Like, would you actually think good friendship is lying about like how good, do you know what I mean? Like all the stuff we just spoke
guys,
about.
just don't do that. It's just not nice.
But I mean, like we've all been there. We've all done it.
We have.
But I think, like, I guess as we kind of come to the end, what would you say has helped you when you found yourself in moments of comparing yourself to your friends?
I think for me, it would genuinely be some of the like choosing to champion or like we're saying, like, I think acknowledging how I'm feeling, where it's like, I think sometimes these thoughts can all be quite subconscious, but actually trying to be like, oh no, like, wait a second, in this moment, like I am feeling insecure, like I'm looking around and I'm thinking that everyone looks better than me. Sometimes it's just about firstly like acknowledging that thought so that it's not just like this subconscious thing, like I say, that you then end up acting out of and like it comes out. And like obviously it's easier said than done. There are some times where I probably do that, where I am just feeling like, oh, I look crap and everyone else looks like so fit and all the boys are gonna, you know, fancy them, and then you just do something or say something that is literally just out of that place of insecurity. But I think the more you can acknowledge that the thought is there and then be like, okay, so how am I going to respond to that? Like, am I going to instead choose to like actually tell the person that I think who looks incredible that they look incredible and like, you know, encourage them in that. And sometimes it's just like being like, okay, what am I even using right now to measure myself of like what's attractive and what's not? And actually like how in this moment overall can I just take emphasis off the way that I look? Because like I said at the start, I do think for me in situations where there is loads of emphasis on the way that I look, I can just find it quite overwhelming because on the day-to-day, for me personally, there's not massive emphasis on the way I look. When I'm in those scenarios where it's all about glamming up, looking amazing, I just find it all quite overwhelming and like almost just overstimulating, where it's like, oh, yeah, like, do I look good enough? Do I not? Like, oh, like my makeup looks bad. Like, whereas on the day-to-day, I don't really care. Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is cool and this is fun to get dressed up, but also the way that I look is not entirely who I am. Actually, how can I go into like this event and focus more on just the way that I interact with people and like the way that I'm like a friend to people? And if it's a wedding, let me focus more on like the marriage of these two people than the way that I look going to this wedding. Like it's not about me. Yeah. So yeah, I would say those are a few thought processes that I would like go through where I'm like, how just overall can I take the emphasis off me, how do I look? Yeah. For me, one thing that's just come to mind is obviously we live in a society where there is a beauty standard that is kind of projected onto a lot of things, particularly the media will show a certain type of person, push a type of person and the way that they look as being attractive. But I just think it's got to a point where we cannot... We need to just, we can't be conforming to like that way of thinking. And actually it's so hard. But even if you are seeing this stuff on Instagram, in films, on TV, either I'd say if you're struggling with watching a show and then find yourself, I mean, I know this is about friends, but I think generally just the whole thing of feeling less attractive stems from the fact that you've seen this standard. And then maybe you have a friend that you feel like fits more that standard. And then that's where so I'd say it still is rooted in where what you deem as being beautiful. And so I think if there's shows, if there's Instagram accounts, if there's stuff that you're seeing that is just not helpful or like reinforcing this beauty standard, stop watching it, stop following it. Yeah. And then I'd say as well, you know, we just need to kind of realize that, yes, if you want to go down that route,
yeah, you can rank all these people on how beautiful they are and blah, blah, blah. But I would just say that, as cheesy and cringe as it sounds, every single person, every human being is uniquely beautiful in their own way. And like we were saying with that analogy of, if you lived on your own and you didn't have any other reference or anything to compare yourself to, you would probably just be quite content with the way that you look. And I do think that the more we can acknowledge that, like, it's not a competition, it's not about ranking, it's not about tiers, leagues, all of these things. It's about, like, you are uniquely yourself.
Yeah.
There's no one else like you. There's no one else on this planet that is you. You reflect, you know, these different elements of beauty in its own unique way. And actually that's incredible. And so I think trying to then take that, and then when you're with your friends thinking, it's so cool, like, you know, I'm with these, I don't know, 6 girls, however many of us, and each of us show these different parts of, you know, beauty and we're made differently and we're each unique. And actually that's incredible. And it's not a competition. It's not about a scale out of 10, what league you're in, how many boys you've got with, how many boyfriends you've had. Like, it's about, each of us being different, unique.
And also it's just more about who you are as a person. And, you know, I know we're saying that obviously the way you look is a part of who you are, but like we've said before, it's also a small part of who you are, where it's like, it doesn't have to be the biggest consuming thing. Like, and overall, how can we put more emphasis on the way that we speak and treat and love people as opposed to the way that we look?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, preach over. Oh, guys,
we love this.
it's a journey, isn't it?
It is.
And like we always say, it's not that Soph and I have this sorted. It's still a very much present. How do we navigate that? How do we not fall into those comparative thoughts? Like, how do we champion our friends? It's still a very ongoing thing, but you know, we're going on this journey with you.
Yes, guys.
All in it together.
Yes, because it's not just you.
Yeah, because
it's us.
it's us.
Collectively.
And you.
There we go. Well,
all right.
We'll call it a day there.
Yes, we will. And we will see you in our next
Episode.
Bye.
See ya.